Hi again, everyone. I'm Ollie Matthews. This is Societal Narcissism. This video is sponsored by contribution from Joan. And Joan sent in an audio file, and here we go.
Hello, Ollie. This is Joan Barreau here. I'm making this recording and sending it to you in the hopes that you will expose the carnage, the damage narcissists, sociopaths, and psychopaths are doing, and their enablers are doing in our world today, so that awareness can grow and someone somewhere can be helped. Because I was born deaf and I spent my childhood blaming myself that I was inadequate for this, that I couldn't overcome this, that I couldn't act like a hearing person, but I was deaf. I wore a hearing aid. Teachers never taking an interest, writing on my report card, doesn't apply yourself, without taking any consideration of that I needed more help because I was deaf and hard of hearing.
Were you in a deaf class, or you just in a regular class? Could you hear anything? Or were you, because you speak very well. To hear you talk, you wouldn't think you had any type of hearing impairments. I'm wondering if there's a cochlear implant, or because obviously you must be hearing something that you're able to speak so well, because there's really no indication that there's a hearing problem with the way you talk.
So my entire life, up until last year, I blamed everything that happened in my childhood on myself.
And I'm not sure how old you are. I think you're either between a millennial and a Gen Xer, you know. And I will say this, at least for Gen X, because I went through this in school, they just don't apply themselves. Is just such a teacher cop out. It really is. It is such an specifically a boomer teacher cop out. Oh, they just had to hear that a million times. How bright I was, but I just refused to apply myself. Well, that's not my fault. That's your fault. I'm 7. I'm supposed to be looking out the window. I'm supposed to be looking out the window at 7. It's your job to hold my attention. If you can't do that, that's your fault. But that's where they want to throw you on drugs and Ritalin, and you get to where we're at in society now. Nobody can function.
I was inadequate. I couldn't rise above my disability. I couldn't excel with my disability. I couldn't be all that I could be with it. I couldn't excel in school. I couldn't excel in a career. And the whole time the family was gang bullying me. I was picked out as a scapegoat, and siblings were committing their acts, coming into my room late at night, staring at me, trying to get a rise out of me. Reactive abuse all day, every day, and my nervous system was shot. And then going to school, with hearing students while being deaf for my whole school career.
Well, how does that work? You must be able to hear something. Because if you're not signing and if everybody's hearing, there's some kind of disconnect here.
So, fast forward to, I blame myself for all of that. All of that was my fault. And then last year, tragedy struck. 2 of my friends died suddenly in their mid-40s within 6 weeks apart. One of them was my most loyal friend who had endless patience for my cries for help, immaturity, and acting out, triggering over the years, but still remained so loyal, faithful, and always looked on my best side. And I felt so horrible after she died, and I was turning anywhere I could, and I was still in contact with the head narcissist, who is my mother. I called her needing some emotional support, some advice, something, and she said, I can't get into this right now. I'm into something else. I gotta go.
Joan, I mean, I recognize your screen name. You've been on my channel for years. You said this happened last year. Why would you think, after being on, following my channel for as long as you have, why would you think you would get any empathy out of your mother? Why? You were on my channel for a reason, right?
Will you just write me a letter? This would have been the second time she would have done this to me in a time of need in the recent years as an adult, never mind what she put me through as a child. But so I did that. I wrote a letter and bringing up many of the things in the past. Then the time came for her quarterly visit, which she was going to do anyway. Not that she made a special visit in my time of need, but she came up and intending, kind of said we were going to talk about things. We had things to talk about, lots to talk about. We were going to do that. And she comes up and proceeds to check, hang on her phone, answer robocalls, act like the robocalls are the most important thing going on at the time. Then she talks at me about her husband's adult children and how much they paid for their vacation home. Talking at me about everything under the sun, not noticing my kids, not playing with them, yelling at them. And then the conversation moved to the front yard where she proceeded to throw a full-blown toddler tantrum by stamping her foot. And her body language during this was so stiff, contempt written all over her face. Like she wanted to scare me, and the staring, like the watching, like she was trying to scare me off bringing up anything emotional, anything from the past, anything having to do with her, anything at all about what I was going through. She was trying to scare me off. I didn't react. I just observed. I didn't say anything back. I didn't give her any emotions. She went home and then 2 days later sent me 2 cards from the pharmacy with Hallmark type messages. No personal messages, just signed Love Mom. 2 cards within 2 days apart for various stupid reasons. And I'm thinking, why not just be nice to me in person when I was standing right in front of you?
Because she physically can't. She hates you. But she doesn't want you to expose her either. So that's what the cards meant. You are obviously, she is feeding off your desperation. That's what she's doing. She is feeding off your desperation for her to make amends and to be normal and to have a normal mother-daughter relationship. It ain't going to happen. It's never going to happen. That's all she's doing, because you're desperate and you come across as desperate. She feeds off that. She sees it. She realizes it. She knows exactly how to play you.
And I knew after my friends had died and I was so desperate to feel better, and I had decided I'm finally going to feel better instead of the self-blame all the time. Instead of that early foundation that it was my fault as a child. And of course that's hanging out on YouTube.
And this is what's sad, because you're obviously in your mid to late, your friends die, so I'm assuming you're in your mid to late 40s now. And you're still believing that your hearing impairment and everything that was going on as a child, okay, is your fault. As of at least up until a year ago. It's like people watch my content and have been watching my content for years. But it's almost like they don't have the moral they don't have not the moral. They just don't have the courage to see that happening in themselves, like to admit this is what's going on. I guess.
I thought it was because I was deaf. I had such a hard time. And many of the therapists spoke to that. And then they also started talking about toxic parents. I finally clicked on a video about narcissism and everything made sense. So during the last conversation where the narcissist threw a temper tantrum in my front yard, I suspected narcissism. I was pretty sure that's what I was dealing with at that time. And so I didn't react. I observed. I held back. I didn't say anything. But I knew this is the end. I'm going no contact. I won't see her ever again. I won't call her. And I blocked her number. I made up an excuse. She twisted it around that I have anxiety. I need to take time out. It's all my shortcomings. I have anxiety.
See, and what she's doing here, she's using the anxiety she caused as a weapon against you. Yeah, damn right I have anxiety because of you. That's why I want you out of my life, so I don't have any more anxiety. Every bad trait the narcissist uses against you is a trait they caused in the first place. You need not worry once you've made that decision to go no contact and cut them out. That's it. Cut it clean. No explanations, no more letters, no more, because no matter what you say to them, it's going to be twisted and used against you. So now your mother's using your anxiety against you, and you seem sensitive to that when you're the one who caused the anxiety when she's the one who caused the anxiety in the first place. That's the hubris. That's the balls these narcissists get. She knows why you are the way you are. But she'll use the condition you're in now, the condition she caused, as a way to gaslight you.
And then when I feel better from that, I'll call her. Well, that was over a year ago, and she hasn't sent any, done anything. It's been radio silence. I get cards for the pharmacy for the kid's birthday, cards from the pharmacy with generic Hallmark messages for my birthday, and I just stopped opening mail from her.
Which is a good idea. Don't even bother returning to sender that, because then that's another engagement that you don't need. Sometimes the narcissist realizes that they're better off if you just do go no contact, and then they never have to face what they did to you. Sometimes, not often. Many times they just can't let it go. They need that control. Hopefully, your mother finds another target. See, and this is where the hoovering will come in. See, this is what you need to be aware of now. And maybe you talk about this a little later because you got another about 5 minutes left on your recording. This is what you're going to have to be aware of and to be really, really cognizant of. Is that now that it's been a year, I'm sure your mother has found another target. And it's when that target, at that time, once that person is targeted, that person is going to come to you as if they're your friend. As if they're going to say, Joan, I get it now. Oh my God, your mother and this and that. And she's even going to say stuff that, and you're going to be like, yes, That's hoovering. That's a trap. That's her trying to reel you back in so the target can be put where they think it rightfully belongs.
Oh, that was over a year ago. Her number is blocked. The golden child is my older sister. She has blonde hair and blue eyes, just like the narcissist. I have brown hair. I'm the second daughter out of a family of 3 girls. The youngest girl was recruited to hate me, do reactive abuse towards me. I was blamed for my reaction, and you name it, all while struggling in school, trying to deal with how to be in a hearing school while I'm deaf and hard of hearing. So then after blocking the narcissist, I started digging.
So you can't. So you're hard of hearing. So you're not completely deaf. I mean, there's got to be some way because you speak fine. There's, like I said, there's no indication of a hearing impediment.
Doing my digging, and I called my old school district, and sure enough found out that I had an individual education plan, IEP, from kindergarten to high school graduation. I had an IEP the entire time I was in school. So I
don't know, what is that, some kind of, I'm not sure what that is, an IEP. I'm assuming that's some kind of extra assistance plan that you were supposed to be entitled to, and maybe your parents didn't let you do it. I don't know.
I asked for help when I was one time when I was 9 years old, after the narcissist had switched me to a different school. I had a really hard time adjusting, and I had asked the narcissist for help one Saturday morning, and she acted like it wasn't her job to help me. I'm stupid for needing help. I'm entitled. And
the same thing my parents did. No, but what I found out was is they were too stupid to do the work. Sometimes, you know what I would do? Now that I'm being on, now let me be honest here. Now that I'm thinking about it, if I like I said, with me, you could not force me to do. If I don't want to do something, you can't force me to do it. I'm like that to this day, and I was like that as a kid. If I didn't want to do it, I didn't do it. And if I didn't, I hated doing math. So wasn't that was like math was like one of my more complicated. Not great at it. Wasn't great at math. Great in everything else. And simple math is fine. Math, addition, subtraction, all that is fine. Fractions, decimals, all that is fine. Like algebra, can't do geometry for the life. It's really more I can't do geometry for the life of me. I can't see depth. I can't do it. I can't do it. Horrible. But like I didn't like this fraction like and math homework. I hated homework. I thought it was bullshit. So to get out of math homework, I would just always go to my father and ask, like, I can't figure, like, and my father'd be like, I don't know what's going on here. Like, bring it to your teacher. I'm like, okay. I could do it, but he couldn't. He was a dummy. So that might have been more what's going on with you. I mean, this is what they do, you know. Could have been that. She's not mentally capable of doing the work or helping you. Or she just, like I said, or she just didn't care.
She reduced me to a pile of tears. You know, I wear a hearing aid, and that's what she did to me. And the whole time, all she would have had to do was make one phone call to the special education agency in town and tell them that her daughter needed help. The IEP was in place, and she did.
All right, so that's what the IEP. Of course she didn't. She wanted to keep you disadvantaged. She probably saw you as a future Cinderella, a future house servant that she could lock up and keep under her thumb.
Didn't, and she never did. So this is a lifetime of picking up the pieces. Now I have a potential legal case I have to deal with and have to file complaints, and I don't have time for that at this point in my life. And not to mention all the mental health effects, but the real legal effects of having an IEP and it not being acted on and having no adult care.
Wait, you're going to try to sue your mother for not following? I don't think that's going anywhere. I hope I'm misunderstanding what you're saying. That's not going anywhere, and that's just going to give your mother what she wants, the ability to try to make you seem like you're crazy. You've had her out of your life for a year now. Don't invite her back in with a lawsuit.
For, no boomer adult when I was a kid, care, take an interest, notice, anything like that for a disabled, hard of hearing, deaf child.
Yeah. For a boomer, that is, they don't want that. The boomer didn't want that. Any child, listen, any functioning child was an inconvenience to the boomer parent back then. Somebody with a disability, forget it. Forget it.
So, this is all.
And again, not all boomers, okay? Most of them. Most of them.
And the most healing thing that I've ever experienced. I thought I would go to my grave blaming myself, thinking I was inadequate for not, being able to provide my own self a great childhood. And I know now that that's completely insane to think a deaf child could provide herself, overcome all that.
No child can provide their own happy childhood. No child can do that. I mean, you were asking what's impossible. It's impossible. A child has to create their own happy childhood. If a child has to do that, there is a 0% chance that child's going to be successful. Because they're dealing with some horrible parenting and a horrible home life.
That act like it's something she isn't a hearing child. And as you can imagine, deaf children are completely different. They have different needs. They need more visual communication, stuff you don't get in hearing.
Yeah, stuff the boomer mother didn't have any time for. Other than to maybe get sympathy from some other people, then I'm sure you came in handy. But actually putting in the work, no. Again, this is a generation that had to have commercials that said, it's 9 p.m., it's 10 o'clock, do you know where your children are? Oh. I ain't seen him since 7 this morning. Maybe I should go look.
Schools. So, my dad was her enabler, and he has been dead for 19 years. He died suddenly when he was 56 years old. He dropped dead in a store in Manhattan, and that's a whole nother story. It was really sudden and shocking, and the narcissist decided not to do an autopsy. He was buried right away, and I was never able to process that. It was affected me, and the carnage that these psychopaths cause is so I went 46 years blaming myself. That's a really, really long time. And to finally come across a channel like yours where it wasn't my fault, especially with the hearing disability, the deafness, was just so healing. I can't thank you enough. And it makes such a positive difference. I'm never talking to my family again, and I won't go to their funeral. And I really appreciate if you can expose this horrible crime. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Joan. I'm not sure if you're the same Joan I'm thinking of. So, I said earlier you've been on my channel for a long time. If I'm wrong, I apologize. Um, but if that isn't you, like somebody has a very similar screen name to you that's been on my channel for a very long time. The most frustrating part about going no contact is you have to let any hopes for retribution or vengeance or payback or even justice, as what you're talking about with a legal case, will bring you. Because it's not worth it. It's never going to work out like that. Once you're no contact, stay no contact. There's no reason to go back. Because she's not ever going to change. So, like, your mother feeds on your weakness. And what she was able to do, what she was trying to do is use the condition she caused and blame you for it. I'm glad you're no contact. I really am. So, I hope this helped. Thank you so much, Joan, for your contribution and story. I really appreciate it. Thank you to everybody watching. Please leave any opinions or advice in the comment section below. And again, if you want your story read on the channel, you have a topic you'd like me to cover, something you'd like to expose, you'd like to set up a Skype, a phone call, have a private video made, you'd like to sponsor a video like this for someone who needs help and can't afford it, or just make a contribution to the channel in general to keep it supported, growing, and successful, because this channel survives 100% on contributions from all of you. Without you guys, all of this goes away. So if you like what you see here and you want to see more videos like this, you know what to do with either the Cash App, Zelle, PayPal, and email links in the description box below. Also, please like and share this video wherever you can. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't. Be sure to subscribe to both my channels on Rumble. Follow me on X and Telegram as well. I'm Ollie Matthews. This has been Societal Narcissism. Take care, everyone.